Welcome back to the series finale of the Wisconsin road trip. On this episode, we're going to do 2 remaining contracts, Wisconsin truck trip and train departure. So the first thing we need to do is load up 16 cellulose that we can haul over to Greenwoods River at the unloading zone. We have 2 8-slot trailers here, so we're going to load up 8 on each one, and then we'll make the long trip across 2 maps to get over there. Glad you're here, everybody. Let's get started. After loading up the Boar, we're going to stage it off to the side, then we'll load up the Kolob, and we're going to take both trucks over there in tandem. As you can see, after the last contract that we completed, there's quite a bit more stuff in this parking lot that you have to drive around, so it's a good idea to have your 8-slot trailers parked over here before you complete that one, or else it's difficult to get them back out. But now that we're loaded up, we're going to make sure everything is fueled, then we'll head out on the road and we'll get the 2 trucks connected. If you remember in Yukon, we had a difficult time using the winch to pull behind this 8-slot because of how far away it was, but we also learned a little trick that we can use to connect them together. I'm going to jump into the Boar real quick and get it started, make sure the handbrake is turned off and the all-wheel drive is engaged. Then we'll just pull the Kolob up next to it. We want to make sure we don't go past the front of that truck, because once we do that we won't be able to reach it, and then we should be able to connect the winches from there. There's kind of a sweet spot. If you're not far enough forward you won't be able to do it, and if you're too far forward you won't be able to do it either. It's actually kind of a pain to get these 2 trucks connected to each other, but the Boar doesn't do the best going through those deep muddy spots, so I want to make sure I have the Kolob out front to help pull it through there, at least until we get to the gateway. Okay, we got them connected. Let's start the journey. We got a pretty seriously long truck train going on here now, so you're going to want to make sure you take your corners nice and wide, otherwise that Boar will get hung up on stuff going around them. But for the first part of it, it's pretty wide open, so it shouldn't be too much of a worry. If you're not comfortable pulling these trucks in tandem like this, I'm sure the Boar would make it through here on its own. I'm just doing it this way because I think it'll help quite a bit to get the Boar through faster. But if you're having major issues with it, just separate your trucks and drive them independently. We did make it through there, still pulling that Boar out though. This trip is kind of slow moving when you're driving both trucks like this though, just keep that in mind. Seems like it's always raining in Wisconsin. Usually within the first 5 minutes the rain starts pouring down. Okay, this second mud hole here, this one's probably a little more challenging to run through in tandem, just because it's on a corner. So keep an eye on that back truck just to make sure you don't get it hung up on the trees. As you can see, that Boar is trying to drive to the side, but I think we're okay. We'll just keep yanking on it until it pulls that trailer around the bend. I guess the main concern is you don't want to tip that trailer over if you get it up on the side hill too far. But it looks like we got through there okay. We should be pretty good from here. There's a couple spots on the road where we have to go around some sharp corners. We'll just keep an eye on it when we do and make sure that we separate the trucks if we have to, like this spot right here. Clearly it's kind of tight going through here, and it looks like that Boar is going to run into the pole, so I'm going to just drop it right there. We'll get the Kolob up ahead here a little ways and then we'll run back and drive the Boar through by itself. As you can see, we haven't even gotten that far, but the Boar is already sucking down the fuel, so we're going to want to make sure we run by the gas station while we're going past there and get it topped off. The only real downside to disconnecting the trucks is you have to go through all that trouble to get them hooked back up again. Having said that, I probably should have just driven the Kolob and Boar up through the gas station separately, so I wouldn't have to do it a 3rd time. But I didn't think of that until it was over. Now we can continue on and we'll go get refueled. This is kind of a slow moving contract, but taking 2 8-slot trailers in my opinion is probably the best way to do it. In the past, I have used the twin steer to do this, and it turns into 4 different trips, or you could take 2 twin steers and just make 2 trips, all in 8 each time. And the twin steers do go through here quite a bit quicker, but I'm kind of at the point now where I like to just make 1 trip if possible. And like that, sometimes it works out pretty easily to get the two trucks connected. Just all depends on where you're parked. From here, we'll head down the road and up to the gateway. It's not too far now. And then from that point, we're gonna just drive them separately. We got one final hill to climb. This one is a bit steep, so it probably will slow you down quite a bit. The Wisconsin truck trip contract was actually the inspiration for the name of this series. When I was getting ready to start this series, I kept trying to think of a name that I could use that was based on this. And there is a famous book that's been written that actually sounds pretty similar to the name of this contract, but I didn't want to get too close to that because it felt a little bit dark. I'm sure a lot of you probably know what I'm talking about. Okay, we made it up here. Let's get through the gateway and then we'll figure it out from there. Just like before, when you get that warning, just ignore it. It won't be a problem. Welcome back to Greenwoods River. It's been a while since we've been here. The first thing we'll do is take the Kolob all the way down. Like I said, I'm going to drive them separately because this mountain road has quite a few sharp corners, and trying to drive those trucks down in tandem would probably be a big headache. It's all downhill and it's all pavement, so definitely won't need the help of the Kolob to get the Boar through here, like we did on the last map. It should just be cruising and smooth sailing from this point on. As long as you make sure that the trailer doesn't get hung up on like the corners or this bridge, everything will be alright. Try to enjoy this last trip down the paved road, because from here, we're going to be moving into a map that is very unforgiving, and there won't be many roads like this that we'll be traveling down. As I said in the beginning of this series, Wisconsin is kind of the calm before the storm of Amur. This has been a pretty fun region though, and it's definitely a pretty region. There's a good balance between adventure, challenge, and scenery. We've been able to use a lot of the trucks that we wouldn't have normally used if it was a harder region, and we've got a pretty broad assortment of them still out on the maps. So once we get done with the final contract, we'll have to clean all those up as well. I kind of jumped around by coming to Greenwoods River first and doing everything over here, and then heading back to Black Badger Lake to do all the contracts in that map. In my opinion, it gave us an opportunity to do some of the easier stuff first, and we got the train station back up and running, hauled the locomotive over there, the 3 Sequoias, everything's loaded up. Now we just got to get this final load of cellulose over there and the train will be ready to go. I think it helped to keep the momentum positive in gameplay, so you don't start out with the big slog paper factory contracts right away and then try to do everything that's easier after that, although some of you might enjoy doing it that way. There's many different ways you can do this region, as with all of them. I just chose to do it this way because I wanted to kind of have the challenge increasing as we went and a little bit of momentum building as we go as well. Personally, I like to do the easier stuff first and then work my way into a lot of the harder and more time-consuming jobs towards the end. We're pulling into the warehouse. You can see the train is ready. We got those Sequoias loaded up sitting there, and the White Western Star has been chilling here for quite a while. We're going to use that truck again too. So we'll turn all those in and I'm going to just park this truck up ahead here. There's plenty of room to have it parked off to the side. From here we can get back into the Boar and we'll bring this truck down the highway. This is going to go quite a bit quicker. The Kolob is a pretty slow moving truck. The Boar does such a good job pulling the 8-slot trailer because of its short wheelbase. It's definitely a good use as a semi-tractor with these longer trailers like this. It has a nice high saddle too. Although with the release of Season 15 and that new elephant truck, I'm pretty sure the Boar, the P16, and the Kolob have fallen further down the list as being the higher saddles in the game. I know the Big Kenny has a really high saddle and it still might be the tallest, but the Slater has a pretty tall one too. If you guys have played Season 15 already, let me know what you think of it in the comments. You know me, I'm going to continue to use the 8-slot whenever possible. It's one of my favorite trailers to use. But we also have an addition of 2 new trailers to the game, a 6-slot and a 3-slot. Personally, I probably won't use the 3-slot very often, but that 6-slot is going to come in very handy when we get to Amur. I'm definitely looking forward to using it there. This game has changed quite a bit over the years from what it started out as, and with the addition of all these new add-ons and trailers, over time things can change quite a bit, and that definitely changes my strategy on how I do things. So even though I've played Amur a few times previously, I've never had the opportunity to use a 6-slot trailer while doing it, so some of the stuff that we do there is going to be brand new for me. I'm looking forward to changing things up and taking some different approaches, and we'll see how it goes. Now that we made it over here, we can get these 8 turned in, and the Wisconsin truck trip contract will be complete. And there it is. The final contract of the region is train departure. We need to haul 3 metal beams, 3 service spare parts, and 3 fuel over to this area. So the first thing I'm going to do is pull around to the backside here. There's a warehouse that has a few metal rolls left in it. We're going to haul those over to the metal beam crafting zone. It's going to be a little bit more challenging to get in there now because I left that locomotive parked on the tracks. So I'm going to go around it and just see if I can get over them on this side. Managed to get the truck stuck on that blue tanker though. It's kind of a tight squeeze to get through here, but we made it through. Now I did say before that we left that dairy longhorn in that blue trailer here just in case we needed to haul more rolls over to the factory. And it would be fine to use that because I think there's 5 rolls in here. They're in the other warehouse. But the reason I'm not using it is because we need to haul 3 metal beams back and we wouldn't be able to fit them all on that trailer. So I'm just going to take them all with, then we'll head over to that factory and craft those metal beams. I believe we have a metal beam in storage over there as well. So it's probably only going to require 4 of them. This will be the final trip we make across the map, so make sure you enjoy it. We have quite a bit of money tied up in trailers right now. I know on a lot of the other previous regions I didn't sell off the trailers. In fact, I didn't even start doing that until we hit Yukon. But like I said, I do have plans on buying basically a whole new fleet. There will be a few trucks that we already own that I'll use. But for the most part, I'm going to be spending some real money when we get there on some new ones. Since we're playing the game in order, we don't actually have a huge assortment that we can buy. And I'll have to pick and choose because we don't have that much money to work with either. Although I know for sure I left a lot of trailers in Alaska that I could go back and sell if I really wanted the money. But I'm not going to mess around with that unless it's something that we absolutely have to do. We'll just see how it goes. I know we have some duplicate trucks, like we got another Kodiak in Yukon. I don't really have a need to have 2 Kodiaks, and we have an extra Hummer that we got from this map. I'll probably sell that one off. So I'm thinking I'll sell off the duplicates first, and then if we need more money, we also have 2 forklifts, and the odds of me using even 1 forklift are pretty slim. So we'll sell off the duplicates first just to get a little extra cash, and then we'll just take it as it comes. If we need more money, we'll probably get rid of the second forklift, and if it really gets bad, that Cat 770G will probably go as well. But we did make it over here. Let's get this truck turned around and get those beams crafted. We're nearing the end now, so it should go by pretty quickly. If you remember, like before, I pull off to the right and back that trailer in past the loading bay. For me, that seems to be the best way to get the 8-slot trailer turned around. Although I'm out of practice, obviously, because I'm running into that power transformer that's laying on the ground. So let me pull up here and get straightened out, and we'll back it in over that fence. Okay, so we do have 1 metal beam. We'll craft the other 2 and get those loaded up. We're going to make our final trip back across the map. After this, there's 3 service spare parts that are in the railway station. So that's like the shortest trip we'll have to make on this region. Even shorter than the wooden bridge we built on this map. And then we'll have to get 3 fuel. The fuel warehouse is down in the southwest corner of the map, but we already pulled 3 back when we used the Paystar in that area a long time ago. And we left them over at the railway crafting zone that's by the garage. So that should be a pretty short trip as well. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought was the most interesting part of this region when you were playing it, or what part of the region you liked the most. There was quite a bit of variety here. This is also a good time for me to remind you to check and make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. If you've been watching for quite a while, you might not even realize that you're not subscribed. I would appreciate it if you did. And also make sure you like this video and share it if you can. It would definitely help to increase the reach of it. I'd like to get as many people as possible involved in the beginning of the Immerse series. I know that that has been a highly anticipated walkthrough for a lot of people, and even myself. And it would be great to start it out with a lot of momentum behind us. So any way that you can help would be highly appreciated. Just up ahead is that drop-off. Let's cruise up there and do this. Holy smokes. I did not see that coming. Nailed that hole in the ground, and the boar stood straight up. I'm surprised it held together through that. Okay, let's get into that white western star, and we'll need to go get those 3 fuel. We left them back over at the railway crafting area, so we're going to finish this region off with this truck. It might be a little while before we use it again, so let's take it on one last joyride. You could run down the middle of the tracks to get over there also, and it would probably be a shorter route, but I'm just going to take the roads. When we get to Amur, we're going to start the region out by scouting out the map and doing a little bit of the work there. Let me know what you think would be the best scout to use, and also the first truck I should deploy. I'd love to hear your opinions in the comments. There's that Pacific P512 that we left over here. That truck was a lot of fun to use. And we'll grab these 3 fuel, and I'll just take the shortcut back that goes down the tracks. It is quite a bit shorter. Now that we have some weight on these tires, it'll actually help quite a bit to get traction through here too. Remember, we are running the all-terrain tires on this truck. Not that they're going to get stuck on this dirt, but I have noticed in the past that when you're running without a load on with these tires, they do tend to slip on this stuff. It just kind of slows you down a little bit because you don't have the traction to cruise. Alright, and we've made it back. We'll get these 3 turned in, and then the service spare parts are just off to the left. This is our final load in the region now, and it's a short one. The cutscene for this contract is also a pretty good one. We just gotta head back out to the road and drop these off over where the Boar is parked. Still can't believe we jumped the Boar like that. That was a little bit ridiculous. And there it is, the railway connection is restored and Wisconsin is now complete. From here I'm going to drive all of these trailers back to the garage and get them all sold off. And on the next episode, we'll see you in the Amur expedition. Appreciate everybody being here. Looking forward to seeing you then. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the first episode. We'll see you then. Appreciate you all, and thanks for watching.